So, a US buyer would have to create a new algorithm from scratch, which is complicated and expensive. This makes the sale harder because TikTok won't work as seamlessly at first without that algorithm. And here's the issue, too, is that this gives an opportunity for Instagram and Twitter, X, and YouTube Shorts. I think here is where people are going to go. They're going to go Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and then X. Because X is not really built for short form video content. A lot of people on X that are big creators, they just take other people's TikToks and post them on Twitter and write a little thing on them. The learning curve for creators that are used to TikTok to YouTube Shorts is going to be different. There is a lot of very seamless features that TikTok has that none of these other platforms have. Okay. And they've been building those over a long period of time. So I guess what you're buying if you're the US here is the features, the users, their data, so they get to keep their followers and all this stuff. But let's keep watching Kevin O'Leary because he does talk about this is before it was shut down. He does say, we don't want it to be shut down for even a moment.
This is what makes Frank so valuable in this deal now. He spent years and millions of dollars preparing a tech stack to replace that algorithm with something you, as the user, have control over your own data and you can share in revenues also. It also provides inter.
Okay, let's talk about who is Frank. So Frank McCourt is Kevin O'Leary's partner in the bid to acquire TikTok's US operations. McCourt is a billionaire entrepreneur and former owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He founded Project Liberty, which aims to create a more equitable internet by enhancing user autonomy and data privacy. Together, O'Leary and McCourt have formed the People's Bid for TikTok, a consortium dedicated to purchasing TikTok's US assets from ByteDance. Their version includes rebuilding the platform to prioritize user privacy, allowing individuals to control and potentially monetize their own data. This initiative seeks to address national security concerns and foster a more secure, user centric digital environment. And regarding the algorithm, the Supreme Court has ruled that TikTok's proprietary recommendation algorithm cannot be included in the sale. So this is really the secret sauce is how does it know what you want to see? And this is a really big part of TikTok. But I think and I would argue that a lot of users are also concerned about like their memories, their ability to go back and like look at conversations and you know we live in this age where people love to be internet sleuths. And if there's a Blake Lively conversation with Baldoni and rewind and go check TikTok and check the receipts, all those receipts are gone when the platform is off. And so there's like that part of TikTok preserving the content that is on there because it is like, if you loved Full House or something growing up and just not ever Friends, right? It's like never going to, you can never go watch an old episode of Friends. And how would that make you feel? So I am not streaming on Rumble. And that's just because it takes me too long to set up that stream. Rumble, if you're out there, if you can make it easier to connect to StreamYard, I will stream to Rumble, but I just can't. I just can't do all the things. AT says, remember that Instagram deliberately changed their algorithm from interest based to social based. TikTok's is interest based. YouTube is a hybrid. None of these incumbents can simply expect all TikTok users to come over and continue. The bonds between communities and TikTok are designed differently from those on Instagram and YouTube, too. Yes. And I posted about the TikTok algorithm because honestly, like people really don't understand this. I don't understand how people are so glib about this. Again, like, especially if you have kids, teenagers, don't just like dismiss them, especially if they were on TikTok during the pandemic, because it's like it was really unfair, right? That happened. And a lot of people built their communities and kind of reintroduced themselves to like the world through TikTok because we weren't allowed to leave our houses. So this is like that's why it's cultural. That's why people are attached to it. And Also, like, you're talking about networks that you don't know like how to find them again. For example, let's say you only use TikTok and you build all your friends on TikTok. Like, I don't even know how I would go about trying to find everybody on Instagram or YouTube Shorts or Twitter. Like, I don't even know who I follow on TikTok. And, how do you, because these platforms don't interact. And I think what O'Leary saying here is that his business partner has been developing something that would essentially allow TikTok to communicate with some of the other platforms, which would also be interesting. Okay. And you also have to realize that with TikTok being gone, this gives a lot of power to Amazon, to Meta. I'm sure that the stock market is going to go in the direction of people are probably going to buy. I don't know. I'm not a stock person, but I do have a client who's like a stock guy. I'm guessing that people now are going to be betting on Google and Meta. Is Meta publicly traded? Some people say that this was strategic, that they wanted it to shut down, but he talks about here in a second about what happened when they shut it down in India.
Interoperability with other social media. It also provides interoperability with other social media. It's what we've been missing in the whole social media landscape. And that was an option 2 hours ago. Now it's a need, it's a must. So Frank has that piece. I have the ear of 6 million plus businesses on TikTok. I do not want this shut off, not for 1 second, not for 1 second. So we have a very complicated dance occurring here between the Biden administration and the Trump administration. We'll have to serve them both in the next
So 2 hours ago, he was saying, I do not want this shut down, not for 1 second.
48 hours, and we understand that. And they both know that our bid is out there. Every shareholder knows it. The company knows it. If they sign that LOI, we'll get that 90-day stay of execution. That's what.
So, if you guys don't know what an LOI is, it's a letter of intent. So, when you are about to do a business deal, before all the things are basically put together in a long contract, you usually do an LOI that's like, hey, this is kind of pretty much what the deal is. Here are the major points that we want to stick to. And when you do an LOI and somebody signs it, that's like they're saying, okay, broadly, we agree to these things. And then the deal typically moves to that long contract and negotiation phase. The idea of it is like, we're going to sign this because we intend for this to go through. So that is what O'Leary was saying. He's saying that he was waiting. I think he said he was waiting for an LOI.
If they sign that LOI, we'll get that 90-day stay of execution. That's what's important.
Doesn't this all depend on an organization that nobody here controls, and that's ByteDance, the parent of TikTok in China? And maybe I was thinking about this, maybe they want to shut it down so that they divide this country even more. They make business owners angry at the Biden administration because it's really now in the Trump administration's hands.
Yeah, well, that was tried in India, 210 million in 2020. And there was a kerfuffle for about 4 days. And then all the users went to other platforms. That's not a good outcome for ByteDance shareholders.
So what O'Leary is saying there is that it's not likely that they wanted to shut down, because in India, when they shut it down for 4 days, people left and went to other apps. I remember I represented a TikToker in India it was hard to get her brand deals, honestly, because to send her product, like if it was a shampoo or something, to get it shipped to India. And then by the time she got it, whatever, it was just hard. But she just ended up going all in on Instagram. So that's basically what happened is people left and you could maybe access it. Right now you can't even access TikTok on the web from the United States, and people were saying that if you had a VPN, I went on Fox on Friday, and I'll show you guys the clip. I didn't want to be rude because a lot of people are saying the host was saying something about like tech people told her that it would actually be fairly easy to rebuild the algorithm, that you would just hire some programmers and then you would buy the users. But that doesn't fix the features situation. And it doesn't, like, if you were to build something from scratch, like that we didn't buy it and it goes away and you have to build it from scratch, that doesn't, if they're not willing to sell the user data and everything that comes along with it, how valuable is this deal then? So does the price shoot downwards then for O'Leary, since they did shut it down? Does he have some bargaining points there? I don't know. What do you guys think? So let's keep watching.
And a lot of those shareholders are American
And
institutions.
the reason why I'm showing this on Fox, by the way, you guys, is because like there hasn't really been a lot of news around this. People are really confused. And O'Leary, obviously, he has his finger on the pulse as to what is going on because he is one of the people that's saying, hey, I will buy it. So that's why I'm playing this. And this is the most recent thing I've seen.
Let's say roughly that it's worth $20 billion.